Sit back, relax, and enjoy listening. SV sat at her desk, the dim light from the desk lamp casting long shadows across her office. It had been 2 days since that moment, the moment that still haunted her mind, making it impossible to focus. Her thoughts kept circling back to that morning. How could she be so weak? Her mind repeated the question over and over like a broken record, and she couldn't escape it. She had been busy all day, trying to drown herself in work to avoid the thoughts she couldn't control. But no matter how many reports she reviewed, or how many meetings she sat through, the questions kept coming. She couldn't stop thinking about that one moment when RK had held her. Of all people, RK, the one person she hated most in the world. How could she have let herself be so vulnerable in front of him? It made her blood boil just thinking about it. The memory replayed in her mind. She was asleep in his lap. He was holding her. The very thought made her feel sick, but the feeling that followed was worse. It was anxiety, a tightness in her chest that she didn't want to face. How could she let that happen? Her hands trembled with frustration as she picked up a paperweight from her desk and threw it across the room. The sharp sound of breaking glass echoed through the room as the paperweight hit the office door, shattering it into a million pieces. How can I? She yelled out in her mind, but her thoughts were getting too much. It felt like everything inside her was about to explode. She stood up, pacing across the room, trying to shake off the suffocating feeling. She was avoiding going home, deliberately taking longer to leave. It was her mother who had told her to go home, but SV didn't want to face RK, not after what happened. She didn't want to see him, not after that morning. The moment his hands touched her, she felt something unfamiliar, something she had sworn never to feel. No, I couldn't let it control me. As she muttered to herself, she tried to focus. She had finished all her work for the next 2 weeks. Everything was taken care of. She couldn't escape her thoughts. And no matter how hard she tried, they kept creeping back. She needed a distraction, something to occupy her mind. So she turned to her work. But she had already done everything that could keep her busy. Then a thought hit her. There was something her client had sent that she needed to check. They claimed they'd sent something important, but she hadn't received anything. She'd already asked her manager and the other members of her team, but none of them had received anything either. This was something she had to check herself. Turning to the security camera footage, SV hoped it would give her the diversion she desperately needed. If she could catch the client in a lie, at least she'd have something to focus on. She started going through the morning footage. Nothing unusual, just the usual footage of people entering and leaving her office. Nothing from her client. It was almost afternoon when she was about to stop the footage, convinced the client was simply lying to her. But then she saw something, a figure standing in the corner of the screen. Someone she never expected to see. Someone she had been desperately trying to avoid.